Yeah, I've been with PTO, as you said, the lead mechanic for the neutral support for the pro athletes since a few years now, actually. Since the Collins Cup, we originally started to work on athletes' bikes for them at the races to professionalise the sport. We elevated that service for the USA Open and European and the Asian Open pre-T100, and then obviously last year was the first season of T100, and yeah, we've built this service course out at every event. We're here from a week out of the event, so on race day we're here for a week for all athletes from any brands to come in, have the bikes worked on, optimise them to how they need, and then we're the same mechanics that will be on the field of play on race day. So we've built that rapport with the athletes before they hopefully don't see us on race day. I think you know when you found a good one, a good mechanic, because they kind of understand what you need as a service from a mechanic. I mean, there's three main areas I think in mechanics. There's maintenance, mechanics and optimization and performance, and a mechanic can do all aspects of that triangle for when you need it at the right time, but the main factors are trust, honesty and like integrity of how you're working, and understanding you as an athlete and not trying to push something down that you don't need, that maybe is a new buzz product in the industry. It's understanding what you really need to kind of have your bike working perfectly and performing at the highest levels, really. So yeah, trust, honesty and like integrity are the three pillars that I believe are like unquestionable. Everything that happens in this workshop and everything we work, even on the field of play, and we're fortunate, we see a lot of products, a lot of athlete products or brand products that may be a prototype or pre-production, or there may be production, and everything that happens within these four walls is confidential, completely neutral, but fully confidential. So we never discuss a particular athlete or a brand or anything that's ever happened or potentially we've changed on a bike, and that's obviously goes back to that pillar of trust for an athlete. I mean, this week we're working on all bikes, and athletes can obviously put their bikes in, but we sometimes have Canyon. They bring their pro mechanics here, their pro athlete mechanics here to work on their bikes, and as a brand they've entrusted us to work on their bikes this weekend, or this whole week actually. So we've had their pro athletes come through the doors and we've been doing the work in conjunction with them, what the athlete requires, what the brand requires, and staying neutral, but it's really helpful for us to understand those bikes. So out on the field of play or in transition, we know how they all assemble and they disassemble and how we can get what the athlete requires 100%. I think the flip of everything I've said, if there's a positives and there's a negatives, it's the polar opposite. They're the things that are the red flags. I mean, as an athlete, you are the focus of your race. So they're not a red flag, well, I guess a red flag. The thing that I always think is an alarm bell is when someone's saying, I've always done this before, or it's always worked in the past, I don't know why it hasn't worked this time. I always think that's a little kind of warning to think, hey, well, it hasn't worked for me and I'm the athlete this time. And that's the world we're in now with high performance, with bike design and so much integration of bikes and optimization. It's having it purposeful for you, really, for the setups and everything. But also the way anybody conducts themselves with how they present their tools and everything. That's also, sometimes, there's lots of world in the bike mechanics where people can kind of get judged by the tools and things, but that sometimes isn't as important as the experience and the knowledge and the professionalism of the mechanic themselves. So it's kind of an accumulation of lots of factors that you bring together, and experience is a huge one. And the discipline that you're racing in is triathlon. There may be an amazing mountain bike shop, but triathlon is a different discipline. So it really is kind of not judging one thing. It is like a building blocks of lots of things that come together to make that highest level and like give you those alarm bells early on. I mean, you don't always need to buy a new bike if something's worn out. You don't always need to replace things. Sometimes they need the application of them is correct. So that's, I'm a firm believer in the application of the product is sometimes what you need to do and optimize it to you. And a good mechanic will know that. They'll know certain products and they'll know the lifespan and things of products, and they'll be able to kind of guide you on that journey, really. And that relationship over time, like a mechanic, sometimes it isn't just a drop in, a helicopter drop in and, oh, I need this fixed. It really is a journey, and you get to know, and you know that your mechanic likes a chai latte, or and that's going more often, more regular intervals. You do it with your vehicles, so you do it with your bikes, and then you will be performing at a higher standard, more towards the pro field that we're in the workshop today of. That goes back to the three things I said earlier, really, about maintenance, mechanics and performance. And I think you can see you don't need to wait till something breaks or something has gone wrong. You can do the maintenance on your bike. So a lot of people sometimes go and see a mechanic, hey, I'm racing next week, I'll go to a mechanic this week. But the truth could be, you could see the mechanic intervally through your whole season. You would be thinking about biomechanics, or you'd be thinking about your nutrition or dietitian. You'd be talking to coaches and changing your diet and things. So it is a journey, and having your bike kind of worked on more often is better than less often.